Hello friends, today we are repairing an Apple 15 Pro Max. The customer reported that this phone is not charging. Let's test it and there is no current when charging. Next, let's test the intimate performance of this phone. Every repaired phone is being repaired. Before we have to test the vacuum through the position of the card slot, the pressure needs to reach 20% of the lucky bag. After reaching it, the pressure needs to be maintained for 20 seconds. This phone is airtight. Now we are going to disassemble the phone. First, remove the bottom screws and then put it away. Insert the mobile phone into the special cooking tool and fix it. The mobile phone can be heated evenly around the temperature. After reaching the temperature, it needs to continue heating for 2 minutes. After the shelf is completed, we put down the suction cup and slowly lift up the knob on the screen. It has torque. Yes, it's not easy to get up. The screen is good. The screen has been opened. We're going to take off the phone. After taking off the phone, let's open the screen and take a look. It is very clean inside without any traces of disassembly or repair. Now we are going to remove the screen and protect it first. Remove the screws of the screen bezel from the face assembly. The Apple 15 series has changed to a TFC interface, which has caused many problems of not charging. So when friends use it in daily life, it is recommended to buy the original charging cable. Below, we install an old battery and see if it can be turned on. The phone can be turned on and the touch screen is normal. Next, let's test whether the charging is normal or there is no charging current. If it is not charging, it means there is something wrong with the motherboard. Now we are going to remove it. Remove the battery and start to open the screen. Then we are going to remove the motherboard. We will perform a motherboard repair work. First, remove the earpiece and then open all the cables on the motherboard. Remove the fixing screws of the motherboard. Remove the front camera. Now we are ready to remove the motherboard. There is a wireless charging cable on the back of the motherboard. To remove the motherboard, we have to clean off the foam and stickers on the motherboard because next we need to carry out the layering work of the motherboard. Now we put it on the heating table and use an air gun and heating table to heat the motherboard at the same time. Start opening the motherboard. The motherboard is already open. Next, we need to replace the USB management chip and clean the solder pad. Clean the solder pad. After the installation is completed, we will install a brand new USB management chip for it. After the installation is completed, we will replace the charging RC with it. After the installation is completed, we need to fit the motherboard to the solder joints around the motherboard. Oh, we have to clean it up and flatten it, and then use a suction bag to take it off and flatten it. After finishing it, we start to suffocate the motherboard. After finishing it carefully, we put it on the shelf and blow the solder joints into it. Then apply a little sweating agent into the ball shape, apply it evenly and flatten it, and then proceed to fit the motherboard. After the fit is completed, we install it into the case and then perform a test charge to see if it boots up normally and charges normally. Normally, we have to install all the foam on the motherboard back and the stickers on the motherboard. The motherboard has been processed. Next, let's clean out the remaining waterproof glue on every mobile phone that has passed the training. We will clean the waterproof glue. Clean it and then put a brand new one on it, just like when we first tested the intimacy. If your phone had intimacy performance before the repair, we will make sure it is restored after the repair. Now we can use a lint-free cloth with alcohol to absorb the residue. Clean the waterproof glue and dust thoroughly. This is the result after we clean it. Then clean up the remaining waterproof glue on the screen. Also use this dust-free cloth and alcohol to remove the remaining waterproof glue around the screen. Clean the dust and clean it. The screen has also been cleaned. Next, we start to install the motherboard. Fasten all the cables on the motherboard and put back the front camera assembly. We fix the motherboard screws and put them back on the earpiece. We will stick a brand new one on it. Start installing the waterproof glue and clean the screen again. Replace the bezel. First, screw the screws of the bezel to the fixed position. After tightening all the screws, we will apply a fixed torque to each screw. Clean it again and take the waterproof glue, the last layer of protective film. Next, we are ready to start attaching the screen. We check that there is no problem. We are ready to start attaching the screen. Next, we put it into this waterproof glue pressure holding tool and hold it for 30 seconds at an average pressure of 75 kilograms. It can be maintained in 30 seconds. Let's start tightening the bottom screws. Next, let's test the intimacy performance of this phone again to see if we have restored it after the repair. Let's turn it on to see if the intimacy is restored and then test the charging. Normally, let's take a look at its charging power. It can reach 28 watts. The repair of the mobile phone has been completed. Everything functions normally. Next, let's clean the dust in the speaker net of Songhua net, the tail plug, and the dust in the earpiece net. After cleaning is completed, we will put a brand new tempered film on the customer because the repair video of this mobile phone was shot in January. So we sent this kind of tempered film. This is the effect after we put the film on, put it back into the tray, and give it to the customer. Send back.